Hi, my name's Patricia Palmer, and I'm also from Phoenix, Arizona.
Can I ask you to take your sunglasses off?
Oh, I can't read. It's my
Oh, it's your glasses.
prescription.
Okay.
I'm sorry. They're my prescription lenses. I was 16 years old when my mom brought me in for an abortion in 1979, 6 years after abortion was legalized by the Supreme Court.
A little louder.
I was a sophomore in high school and was in a serious relationship. The abortion was not my choice, but that of my mother's, and my boyfriend had no problem with it too. I remember begging my mom to allow me to put the child up for adoption. My boyfriend and my mom accompanied me to the abortion clinic, and in my last-ditch effort of hysteria, crying and pleading for them to both listen to me, my cries fell on deaf ears, and no one in Planned Parenthood listened either, or I wouldn't be here today. I remember being brought back to a room to segregate me from the others. I don't remember anything about the actual abortion procedure, but the extreme loss and despair I felt afterwards. There was a darkness that fell over me and a hole in my heart, like I felt when I was raped at 13. A part of me was gone that day. My dignity, my identity, my innocence vanished. I noticed immediately after regaining consciousness that although I was physically conscious after the abortion, a part of me died that day in the abortion clinic. I did not have a deep interior understanding of God when my first abortion took place, but I had a deep sense it was wrong, and remember I was deeply convicted in my heart to give that child up for adoption to a loving family, since I was not prepared to raise a child. I didn't get that opportunity to experience those emotions. Instead, I experienced the emotions of the abortion. These past 32 years since my first abortion were 6 years of drug and alcohol use, and I became sober through the later years, but the effects of my addictive behaviors submersed me into a deep depression. I had attempted suicide on 3 occasions. From unresolved grief as I tried to forget the memories of what occurred in my life, I was struggling with being detached and consumed with anger and hate. It led me to isolation and alone seeking physical relationships that just could not fill the hole and emptiness. I was emotionally absent. This is what led me to be promiscuous, looking for love in all the wrong ways. As a result, I had 4 more pregnancies and treated them like birth control by aborting them all now by my choice. I lacked the culpability to right reasoning by a deadened conscience. My perception of reality and truth was distorted. I have 3 living children now, ages 28, 24, and 19. When I was 19, I became pregnant, but I could not abort that child. I chose life and got married, and with the first year, separated and divorced. Again, got into another relationship at 24, got pregnant, chose life, got married, and again in another short period of time, divorced. I was encountering profound inability to love or be loved, and believe this is a direct result of the trauma of abortion. I was continuing to have multiple relationships and had another unplanned pregnancy, which would be my fifth. No, not by the man that I wanted to be with. So he took me for an abortion. He and I are now together for 22 years and have fathered our youngest, which is 19 years old. We got married. At the time we took our civil vows of marriage, we decided to put future plans into action and get married in the church. I began to learn and discern my life through the teachings of Christ. My deadened conscience was beginning to awaken, and the reality of my dysfunctional life and the lack of right reasoning began to process. I was now trying to recollect all the damage done. It was like writing my eulogy while peeling back the layers of denial of sin. After our marriage in 1992, another 9 years would go by before I was given the sacrament of reconciliation and confirmed in the faith. I was transformed in mind, body, and soul by receiving our divine physician's love, mercy, and forgiveness. He opened the door of my heart and sprinkled his precious blood on it. I struggled to forgive myself for the choices I made, the multitude of lives that were hurt and destroyed. I confessed it over and over and was so oppressed by the effects of the unresolved grief when one day a beautiful priest led me to Rachel's Vineyard retreat, where I was introduced to the notion of forgiving myself. Abortion may be a legal choice and may appear to be the immediate solution to a crisis situation, but it can never be considered health care. We all do deserve to know the truth. It is a lie that abortion solves our problems. I hope by speaking out about my experiences shed some light on the profound impact abortion had on my life. I would consider myself in a good place emotionally now, and my grief for my abortions has been resolved, but sadly, my choices resulted in tragic consequences for my 3 living children, now adults. Abortion has had lasting effects on my entire family. Women and men deserve to know the truth. The science of embryology is clear. From the earliest stages of development, the unborn are distinct, living, and whole human beings. Children are not a disease and never deserve to be treated as such. It is my hope that our society will listen to people like me who have learned the hard lessons that life is a precious and sacred gift from God. And that's why I'm silent no more.